So here we go again. Day 3. You ready?
Oh, I'm never ready.
Apparently we've got like a driver's meet here tomorrow. Luckily there's only a couple of us and we know what's going on. Right. So here we go again. We've decided we kind of do each section at a time and kind of build it as we're going. And I think we're going to drape it as well and cloth it so that we're using what we need in each place as we go along.
I can't. No, I can't see you doing that.
Oh, you're right. I can't see me doing that. You're doing it.
Oh my
God. We're going to try and sort out these lights because they give terrible lighting.
Yeah.
And it's bad enough I'm trying to video on a potato. So we're going to get these lights changed and use the natural ceiling pan lights that we've got next door.
It still cause a problem. But...
Which still causes a problem because you can't get them high enough. That's the problem. The ceilings in here are quite low. Yeah, we've got to fire them towards the course rather than in the middle. So we're going to get that sorted out today. Oh, look, there's one up there as well.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, we've gone from having none to about 8 now, so that's really good.
Always good to have some spares.
And yeah, there's still a lot of rubbish, but we're on it. We're getting there, slowly but surely. At least we can walk around, you know. We're going to get rid of the rubble pile. We're going to put the rocks on.
Try and get rid of it.
And yeah, work on each section so it flows really nice to the next. We're definitely going to be putting in a lot tougher obstacles and more lines in this one because it kind of lends itself a little bit better to that because it's not really kind of open plan.
No,
it's up, it's down. So we're going to put some.
We have to use the height.
Yeah, we're going to use some really cool concepts of lines, you know, for competitions as well. Yeah, and
it's a new way of us building something.
Yeah, I managed to salvage and scavenge a bit of Celotex. You never know. Someone's always got a bit lying around. You know, I literally drove past someone's house and they had like 2 pieces of this shoved by the bin.
Hey, that's from who else?
I love it. And then a good friend of the channel is going to bring down some tomorrow as well, so we'll have a little bit more. We don't think we're actually going to need a lot.
No.
Because it's all surface, this stuff, because there's a lot of airspace behind because of having all the ups and downs of the course going in between. So we definitely don't need nowhere near as much as what we used in there. And we're also, like we said before, going to use a lot of natural rocks and concrete underneath and then drape over the top to smooth it out to make it more continuous throughout the course. Right, the kettle's boiled. Let's get on. The dog's getting nifty with a knife, so we're going to be creating a cave that goes through into the other side, and we're just literally going to break through so we can see the wall and, well, whether the conduit's in the way.
I don't think it is.
I think it's going to run right through the top of it.
Yep, I think it is. But...
You just said you don't, so which way? Oh, look at that. Just. We cleared it. It's back here.
Oh, yeah, we moved it. We moved it.
I was just testing you. It's right there. Yeah, a bit more. Like, get that. That's excellent. Okay, right. So while we've got this, so for anybody that kind of doing this from the beginning or never done anything like this before, there's a couple of different types of materials to use for carving, and they all carve slightly different. Because you just stood there watching me, it's fine. I've done it now. I'll tell you what you could do. In the back of the van, there's some polystyrene slab. Just grab me a piece of that. I can show them the difference. And the selection of weapons you're going to use to carve. One of my favourite tools to actually use for carving is a hacksaw blade. This is actually for metal, but it does cut through this really nicely. And it literally just pushes through. This is house insulation, so it's high density foam, and this carves really well. I mean, you really don't even need to carve it. If you watch back some of our old videos, you know, you can literally just ping it out, and it will create jagged rocks. And it's why I use a scraper or a spatula and literally put it in and ping it out, and you'll get this kind of nice effect. So it's really good to get rid of cut edges. This stuff is polystyrene, not high compressed like the insulation. Feels very different, carves very different. If you put it in, it kind of pings away, but it leaves a fluffy snow effect. Even when you kind of cut with a blade, it will still leave a relatively fluffy edge. Now the way to deal with this is, what you want to do is get a heat gun and seal it back up. If you seal it back up, it becomes hard again, and you get rid of all your fluffiness, and it means that you can then, you don't actually need to put cloth over this. You could just paint cement straight over the top of this, which is what I've done time and time before. In fact, right back at the beginning, that is exactly how we did the entire course. And then you've got spray foam, which we haven't got any going yet, but again, with the spray foam, you want to be using something a little finer, like the hacksaw blade or a kind of box cutter. They're normally pretty good for doing spray foam. And then, you know, rough saws, we're really kind of going at things, and just a general saw for cutting down the actual material. All right, we're going to be working on this section here. So we're going to start slabbing out and putting some bits in place and see how we like it and what lines we're going to get from it. Oh, G-Dog's just got up there in old oath and knocked everything down.
I didn't.
I didn't, he says. I didn't. Okay, so a little insight to how we do things a little bit different to other people. We could spend the time in just carving in rock faces onto this. But then if we cemented it, there's a chance it could end up wearing and kind of causing a problem. And being upright, we could drape it individually with some coin cloth and stuff like that and pick up all the detail. But what we're actually going to do in this build is we're going to drape these type of things, and then we're going to mix a kind of mortar mix and actually mortar up the sides of this. And then once it's kind of gone green, we're going to take a couple of carving tools and actually carve the rocks into the mortar, not the foam. So it's going to be super tough, slightly different technique. So we're going to give the community another technique. We'll just chip it away so it bites the cloth, and then we can just render it up and then carve into the sand and cement on these areas here. So yeah, looking forward to getting that done, but we're a long way off. So yeah, we're not going to keep these flat. We are actually going to render up these and put mortar on them, and then kind of carve in some rock faces. We're going to put a load of spray foam in these areas, but this is what we're trying to do, is create these undulations and ducks. This is about 8 inches from there to there, so you can just about get, you know, a fairly size. You wouldn't get a 1/18 around there. It'd be quite tight, or a class 3 with super wide stuff, but it's still a line for another type of rig, which is what we're trying to achieve. G-Dog is trying to find the drill, which I've already had out, so I don't know where I put it. So he's putting a bracket on the shelf ready for this end here, because this is a return. You can't go off. We're a dead end and you've got to return back down here. We're also going to be putting a ton of stuff on here. Right, let's go. Smaller screws.
Yeah.
There is nothing in the van. If you can't find a small screw in this place, there's something wrong with you.
Well, everybody will tell you there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, there is. There's screws everywhere.
Yeah, I know, but we put things away and we...
No. That's an incorrect statement. We do not put anything away. We just put it somewhere else.
Well, these are too long to go in there. They're going to stick up. Go through people's tyres.
What? Attach it to the front face. What was you saying about age? Makes you superior?
Everybody will tell you age is superior. I've forgotten more than you know. That's my excuse. And everybody who's old will agree with me.
I'm sure they will.
Right, just going to make a noise.
Right, so I don't actually know how much this stuff is. This is like padding foam. They use it in indoor soft play for kids. I managed to get hold of a load because we were redoing a bit in one of the workplaces I work. Nice thing about it though is you can rip it. Kind of, it's got ply bits, so you can rip it out and it actually looks like jagged rock. And then what you can do is just use a carpet spray and then just glue it onto there, and then you can paint over the top of it or do what we're doing and cement over the top of it. And the nice thing about this is it's super flexible, so we can bend it and make it look a bit more dramatic around the corners, although it does look like a safety foam pad on a corner of a table at the moment.
That's for me.
That's for you.
That's for me.
What? We're trying to find a crucial element to the build. These are skewers, and they're really good for punching through your foam and holding pieces in. And we have a ton of these, but G-Dog has seemed to misplace them.
No, it's always me, because we move it from here.
Yeah, but I make you tidy up. So it is always you. But you put it all in a big black box, and then you went no because you didn't know where the big black box was.
Is it that one?
I think it may be that one. Okay, so we're just blocking out at the moment. Then we're going to use a bit of spray foam and start holding things in place. We're going to make this a little bit more rough and rugged. We're going to kind of build this up so it looks a bit more. But what you're going to do in here is we're actually going to use natural rock to build up and create a bit more foam. Thanks, G-Dog. Oh, another bit. It's lovely. This is amazing. What's in that? What else you got in the box?
I got big skewers.
Oh, there they. Yeah, so we're going to start blocking out and then spray foam, and then once we've kind of covered it, we'll then start building up some detail. Yeah, it never looks much when we're doing this stage. It just looks nothing. It doesn't look anything. I mean, this looks cool. This is great. We're going to leave this as harsh as this. We're going to cover it and see what it looks like. I'm going to carve this all down and create some nice kind of background drop on this. This will probably end up being just painted. However, we were thinking we may have to just cement brush it. So we'll mix up a neat cement and just paint that in cement, because it's going to take a bit of a kick in all the way along this line here and up here and around there. Something stopped. You stopped.
They're not in there.
Oh.
They're not in that one.
See?
I did find some big ones.
Oh, found some big skewers and a bit of bark. Yeah, bark's always lovely. This stuff, I mean, the problem with this stuff is it's quite, well, it's expensive over in the UK. But if you live in a country where you can get bark, this is cork bark. So this is what your bottle corks are made from. If you sprayed this black and dry brush this silver, it is instant rock, and it's super grippy. I mean, if I was to do just an 8x4 table, I would probably spend the money and just buy a load of that, because it would look absolutely spectacular. Straight away. I mean, it would just be insane. But it's super pricey, and a scale of this size, well, we ain't even got enough in the budget for new Celotex. So, right, got a few skewers. That might get us by. All right, so we're slowly making some progress. We've hacked and slashed the backdrop, given that all some character, and G-Dog's demoing already. And we've kind of just starting to patch in some of the base layers of what we're going to be working with. This cliff front's all done, so that all comes down here. And we just stripped this stuff up and kind of glued it back on, so it does give this really nice kind of jagged rock effect all the way down. Like we've said before, we're going to be using natural rocks in this because we've got a ton of different colours, and we're not even sure what colour we're even going to do everything. So we're going to cover all the natural rock with cloth, and then it can all be painted in a nice consistent colour, and then we can put natural rock on top as we do at Reactive Terrain. And now we're just working on this area. So what we're doing is mapping out how wide this is. So basically what we can do is we can come from under here and then start creeping up to go up this way, but also come around onto this top tier here, which will also lead you out onto this as well. Now we've got a big corner in there that we do not want to fill with premium product, so we left the bin out and a load of people dumped some of this stuff.
Yeah, thanks for dumping it.
Yeah, but one man's waste is another man's gold, and this will now take up some of the space, and we can get them fixed into place, and they will never be seen again. Thanks. All right, so if you've got an advantage of having 100mm insulation, then what you can do is actually rip it right down the middle and be quite, you know, aggressive with it, and you will create a complete landscape with ducks and dives, and then you can add and remove, and then you get 2 lots of it to do it. Now this piece, we're actually using this to go in the back of over here, and this will now create a mounting bridge between here and here. Dad, you might as well just put yourself on there because you're a lot older than that.
Cheeky.
And then yeah, even down here we can just use some of the offcuts to kind of backfill and then cement over the top. So yeah, this will create a nice canopy as we're coming over, make it a little bit more natural, and yeah, like I say, we can get half that again and use it somewhere else. There you go. And then yeah, just literally we got to this halfway point and then just kind of ripped it off to give all these kind of organic look rather than trying to create it. We let the material do the work for us. So yeah, it does make it a bit easier. So basically you can see where I cut in, and I just used the saw and I just twisted the saw in the middle from both sides, and that creates all these kind of dips and dives. And now I'm just going to shape all the edges up, and then this will go in here. Beautiful. All right, pulling out the good old faithful. Yes, this is how Reactive Terrain does it, and it is catching on worldwide. So this is just everyday builder's cement, no sand, just cement. And this is, yeah, post creep. Now this is really difficult to kind of explain to people in different countries, and it's named very different, and some countries don't even have it, because I do get a few messages all the time regarding it. Now this is basically a quick set cement. It has no kind of sand in it. It has tiny little bits of aggregate and grit. It's actually quite damp, so you can see how small it should be. This is normally what we would sprinkle over the top to give extra traction. It goes off super quick and really hard. We're actually going to be experimenting with Hessian. Now this is, it's actually probably a little bit cheaper than drop cloths, because you can actually buy this in the roll rather than by the meter. So you can buy a massive roll of this for very little, but you have different types of coarse kind of weave. So this is quite a nice tight weave, and we do have another one that's quite a loose weave. G-Dog's got it. Yeah, he's done this before, you see. You can see that straight away there's a big difference between that one and this one. We're going to go with the slightly tighter weave, I think, because I think we're going to get a better result. Although this would work, but we would have to then probably coat it with a paintbrush afterwards with cement.
We'll try this.
But I think we'll give it a go. So yeah, we're going to try this. So we're going to give a new technique, a new material, and see how it does. Now we don't have the luxury of doing huge sheets this time, because it's a very different type of course than the one in there. That big old mountain. You can see a partial of it. We actually did that in one big sheet. It was a 3 meter by 3 meters long, so that's 10 foot by 10 foot. Got the whole thing in a bowl of cement and drape the lot in one go. But we're actually going to do this in sections, make it a little bit more manageable, probably a little less messy. Well, not with G-Dog doing it.
I didn't know we were doing it.
Well, did you wear your best shoes again? There you go, gentlemen. Let's in this Sunday shoes again.
They're becoming famous, my Sunday shoes.
All right, we'll check back once we've made up a solution of cement, and we're gonna start draping already. Let's get it done. All right, so when you're using the sand and cement, make sure you guys wear gloves and wear a mask, or do it outside when you're mixing, because it's the dust that can get to you. Don't do that in an enclosed area. This is G-Dog. We don't care about G-Dog.
kill the oldest first.
He's already knocking on Evan's door, so it's fine.
Cheers, son.
Although, what did you just say off camera?
Sorry?
What did you say off camera?
I need to wear gloves.
I mean,
Because my hands have got in, they're just too much.
You mean you've spent years not doing much? I've got big rhino hands. The cement doesn't even touch me anymore. But we will knock up outside because A, it's less mess, and B, there's no dust in here. So if you are doing this technique, make sure you wear a dust mask and you wear gloves. Right, that's the health and safety done. Let's ignore all our advice and crack on. For those that have never seen this technique before, what is the consistency level?
As much as you want to put into as much water as got now.
It's got to be a gravy.
Yes.
It's got to be a gravy-like substance. Not too wet, not too thick, because otherwise it won't work. Yes.
But we're using very quick drying cement.
No, you're using very quick drying cement. These folks that are listening will use standard
Cement.
Yes.
Okay. Why have you got a paintbrush in your hand?
How long have you been doing this?
No, but you're taking out the bucket and putting on.
Yeah. So you need a paintbrush to gently push and move in all the directions. Not my little fingers. Well, I will do if you take your time. You ready?
Oh, really?
Let's go. More water. How many are you planning to do at a time?
One.
Okay.
Because I don't think you're going to get much time to play with
Well,
it.
let's do one and see how it goes.
You ain't going to get the time. You want it in this stuff or that stuff?
You make an executive decision.
I get told off for executive decisions.
You brought this out. You keep bragging about how fast it is. So how fast are you?
I'll get that in the bucket. It will set before you get it on the cork.
You said I got 10 minutes.
Okay.
With no sand in it, that gives me about 2 minutes. And for the people watching at home, the measurement is?
As much as you want.
So I got that bit. You just keep bringing it and mixing it. Right.
What have you done with it?
What done with what?
Oh, my cloth.
Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. We're just going to give it, and this is definitely a lot heavier duty than the drop cloth we would normally use. But what we don't want to do is miss out on too many of the things. It's not going here, Gritty Dog, because I've already got it here. Where are you going now? Oh, he's missed patches. Fire the mixer! Has it gone off yet?
Nearly.
It's my brush going to go hard, isn't it?
Sorry?
Brush is going to go hard as well now. That's it, I'll do that bit.
Oh, he does like giving the bit.
Right. So basically what we're going to do is just get this into the basic position we can, but we really want to kind of keep some of the dips and dives, hence why I'm using a paintbrush to kind of get it in over this bit. Alright, and again you can smooth it over as you're doing it. I guess it's probably going to give the same effect as if that wasn't good. Right, let me, because I'm videoing, right, I'm going to get this sorted out and I'll drop back in a second. wouldn't be too precious about your phone when doing this, because my phone looks like it's been hit by a nuclear cement bomb.
It has.
As does the stand.
It was.
Okay.
A big plume of.
So
Please do outside.
that is. It hasn't actually gone off as quick as we expected, although we did work really fast to get it done. But actually, it's still pliable, but it definitely does go off quicker. The Hessian is a lot harder to work with, but actually it holds its shape a little bit better because it's quite thick and dense. You can kind of tuck it in a lot better than the drop cloth, which kind of just sits on top of everything. And also I think it is going to go off super hard.
Yeah, I also think that with the drop cloth we use the other side, you've got a lot more kind of lines in it. Here, you've got a couple of lines here.
Yeah, you can. That's what I mean. It holds its form a little bit better.
Yeah,
when doing this technique, you're always going to get drape lines. It's down to you to be a little bit creative with the drape lines and how you dress them up afterwards. But with this one here, I'm going to spin the camera around so you can have a look. There's not much going on at all. So as you can see, we kind of went really heavy with all the broken rubble from the doorway, but when you drop cloth it, it just completely softens it up, so it makes it look so much more natural formation. And yeah, there's hardly any creases at all. It's hugged the rocks quite nicely around here. Even this shape here, it's hugged it really well. We've got a little bit of a crease just here. There's no creases coming up here. I pushed all the crease to this line. So I basically used the paintbrush to create this, which was all the sag from over there. And as you come around here, it's held up really well around this front face. A few little creases in the middle, but that's okay. And as we come down here, you can just see where I've pushed the creases to the edge line, and that means you can dress it up and it'll look like a sheer face or a rock. This is where it joined, just here. But if you want to, you can just cement that in. So you'd never even see it. And as you're coming up through this shape here, again, we've got a few crease lines underneath this bit here and along here, but it's very minimal. And here you can see the crease line. I've used it on the rock to actually create a different type of rock face. This one here. So all of that crease is from internal, where I've pushed it right to the edge, because then I can dress it up and paint it. Yeah, seems to sit really well. I mean, it's really smooth here. This looks like one big natural rock now. Awesome. Here they are again. Look, the best invention in the world, coin cloths. We've got a video about these. These are super good, and we're definitely using them on this new course. Right, so there's a lot of things going on in this picture right now. So these have just been painted. So these are rocks that we painted and mucked in. Why would we paint rocks? It's because we want it all to look the same. So we want a nice continuity throughout the whole course of colour, depth, and then we can dress it all up. This here is the Hessian, or a burlap sack kind of material. And as you can see just in this groove here, I'm trying to create a texture all the way down, as if there's, I suppose, like a mud rather than kind of rocks and stuff like that. And I'm actually using this at the moment. So what I've been doing is kind of laying it out and putting it into the crevice and draping it over and under and just leaving it there. And then what I'll do is I'll take the paintbrush, get some nice cement, and we're just going to lay it on and just smooth it out. Now what I'm trying to do is actually encourage a bit of creasing, so that it kind of drapes like that. And this also you can use as kind of tree rooting or anything like that, but it just adds a little bit of finer detail than just anything else. You can see it just kind of worked it in just there. Alright, so there we go. That's the next section all done. We've just started, we actually ran out of cement. We only got a couple of bags for today because we're only on it today. So it's gone quite far, to be fair. I mean, it's a fair old distance done. This is a great effect. This is using the coin towels. It's simply pinching one end of the coin towel and letting it drape, and then just using your fingers to drag it out, gently brushing over the top. I mean, it's so easy to do to get this effect. And all I do is, while it's still quite wet, we stick a stick down and we kind of wrap it around like a scarf, and then use it to look like there's roots and disturbed ground. We've done another one here. The other effect you can do is you can kind of create this draping effect, which once you've painted into mud and put some other different kinds of rocks around it, it'll look like just a kind of mudslide area. It's just really good to kind of break up the terrain and the difference in ground. And as you can see, these are then natural rocks that we've actually painted, and then we've kind of still a bit. That's the other thing you can do. Why it's kind of going off, you can just get rid of some of the creases that you don't want to see too much of, and then it's gone. There we go. And then obviously there's slightly more, the other rocks I've used as kind of ground rather than rock, so that would be painting up as a rock, and this would be painting up as the ground. Goes right under there, and that's all covered up as well, so we've still got to paint underneath that area there. Well, there's still a lot more to go. It's not just that bit. So, but yeah, off to a nice start. This is a nice section, really making use of the twists and turns of the drift course, and videoing the drift cars coming up through here and then around here. It's just going to look really, really good. So if there's anything in the video that you see and you want to kind of know how we did that a little bit more in depth, then smack some comments in the comment box, and maybe we'll do a little small video on how we do certain techniques. A lot of it is used from our previous videos, so make sure you check out all of them. But I have to say, using this Hessian cloth, it's nice and heavy, which means it kind of drapes and holds the form of what's underneath a little bit better. So definitely something to look at in the future. Okay, so we are basically packing out a huge section of insulation and spray foam to hold it all together. You can see we've got pins in everywhere, because the plan is to basically cut this all the way out as a channel that then suddenly kind of goes up. So we're digging out different grades. So I think like here we're going to be at like 60 odd degrees, and here we're going to be almost vertical for the last kind of 4 inches or something, or 5 inches. You really got to pop up over the top. A bit of a run up maybe. We're going to try and cradle it as best we can to kind of keep you within this channel. Behind the back of it, you'll see that there's also a run. Goes all the way up top around the back. I've actually put a couple of blocks either side so that when you go up, you kind of get trapped in there so that you don't kind of bounce off everywhere. Yeah, it's an idea. It's one of those things we have no idea if it's going to work until we do it and have a go. And if it doesn't work once we've done it, then we turn it into something else. As normal. But yeah, flow of the course is looking, yeah, it's so cool. Just this lovely organic flow to it now, which just looks super clean. And this is what we're going to create all the way up here. This is all going to be organic flowing, so it won't look disjointed or kind of separate. And obviously underneath is where we drift. So you'll come flying around and drift past this nice little island just here. Right, let's leave this to dry. Alright, so why that is, what's better?
You have 2 there.
Okay, so now we're working on one of the major kind of, not only spectacles of this corner, but actually a really cool obstacle. We're actually going to do a cliff vertical drop hang all the way around this edge, you can see. And we've got this lovely centerpiece piece of wood that we're going to use, and we'll paint it up so it looks like rock. But what we're going to also try and do is create a tunnel through and out so we don't lose too much. We're already losing this whole back area because you're not going to be able to see it, so we're going to say goodbye to that space. But this is going to be super cool, but I'm not going to show you it until we've done it.